Hello, Assalamualaikum to Madam Nur Faiza. We are from Group Impartial Berhad. We would like to present our segmental and interim reporting. But let me introduce my team member first, please. My name is Nur Farazatul Adawiyah, along with my friends Nur Fatiha Hana, Iftitah Sabrina, Nur Hana Iman, and Nur Amira. For part A of segmental reporting, we would like to elaborate more on company background, management approach, reproduce segmental reporting, and advantages and disadvantages of segmental reporting. Impartial Berhad is telecommunication companies that control South telecommunication in Malaysia. They technically operate over 20 years since incorporated in 14 February 1994. They are also one of the earliest companies that introduced and enrolled the 4G system in Malaysia and few more countries. They started incorporated as international companies in telecom but got separated when it is listed in Bursa Malaysia. There also is investment holding that focusing on telecommunication and consultancy services on international countries. As for management approach, there is few factors that need to be considered on having segment reporting. The first one is nature of business activities. The company engaged in business activities of mobile telecommunication and network transmission in related services. It operates in the following segment, which is mobile, infrastructure, and others. Impartial Berhad also investment companies that manage with the technical, consultancy, and engineering services. The second factor is nature of business process. The company controls interest in mobile operators in international countries such as Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and Cambodia. The third one is type of class or for the products or services. The company provides services to all categories of income, including students, employees, and anyone who owns electronic devices. The last one is the methods of using to provide the services. The company uses telecommunication transmission tower to provide services to customers. Moving on to the type of segment, Impartial Berhad use geographical segment in operating their segment. The company provides mobile and infrastructure services and operates in geographical places such as Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Next is the chief decision making and its responsibilities. Datuk Fatiha Farhana is the currently CEO of Impartial Berhad, start commencements on 1st January 2020. She is responsible for overall success for Impartial Berhad and top-level decision-making. She also responsible on communicating on behalf for the company to shareholders, government entities, and public final decision. Not only that, she also responsible in leading the whole development for the company in the short and long terms and implement the company's mission and vision. That's all from me. I will pass to my friend to continue our presentation.
Hi, my name is Nur Fatiha Farhana binti Kasmiri. I will be presenting on the segmental report. As explained before, operating segment of Impartial Berhad can be divided into business and geographical segment. The business segment are consisting of digital mobile, infrastructure, and others. The digital mobile are divided into 5 geographical segments, which are Malaysia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Cambodia. There are 2 processes of identifying reportable and non-reportable segment. Firstly, using 10% threshold test. Secondly, using 75% threshold test. To determine whether the segment is reportable or non-reportable, the entity will need to do the 10% threshold test. The 10% threshold test can be tested on revenue, profit or loss, and asset of the operating segment. The segment is reportable if it meets the 10% requirement. Based on the calculation, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Bangladesh are more than 10% of combined revenue of all new segments. Therefore, these 3 segments are considered reportable. As for Nepal and Cambodia, These two segments are not considered reportable as they are not meet the 10% requirement. The operating segment are not reportable should be combined and disclosed in all other segment categories. If the entity decided to test the 10% threshold test on revenue, the total revenue of the particular segment must be 10% or more than the total revenue for all operating segments. For profit or loss, a segment profit or loss must be 10% or more than the combine of all profit or loss of the operating segment. Same goes to the asset. A segment asset must be exceed 10% of the combined asset of all operating segment. For impartial Berhad, we decided to apply the revenue test to calculate the total revenue, which consists of internal and external sales of a segment divided by the total revenue of all operating segment. This table shows the calculation of 10% threshold too. After determining the reportable segment, the entity should ensure that the total external revenue attributable to the reportable segment is at least 75% of the entity total external revenue. 3 out of 5 are considered as reportable segment. From that, 75% threshold test should be performed. We total out the external revenue of all reportable segment divided by total external revenue of all segment and times 100 to get the percentage. When the 75% threshold does not meet the additional reportable segment, it should be identified on the basis of the highest external revenue generated among the non-reportable segment until at least 75% threshold test is met. For any operating segment that does not meet any quantitative threshold, the segment will remain as non-reportable segment and grouped together as all other segment category. As impartial Berhad has passed the 75% threshold with 85%. In order to have 4 reportable segments, in a new adjustment of operating segment will be corrected as described in the table. It is an addition of Sri Lanka segment. Impartial Berhad will have 4 reportable segments and 2 non-reportable segments following the adjustment. This is the 75% threshold carried out by Impartial Berhad, which resulted 89% and meet the requirement. The new segmental report will result in change in the reportable status due to the new adjustment of new operating segment. According to the revenue basis calculation, there will be 4 reportable segments because it exceeds 10% rules of the threshold test of the total revenue of all operating segments in Impartial Berhad, which comprise of Malaysia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Cambodia of 32%, 35%, 18%, and 31% respectively. Nepal and Cambodia segment shall be reported as all other segments because they are not meet the requirement of 10% threshold requirement. Impartial Berhad believe that the information of non-reportable segment is important to financial statement users. The company may decide to include Nepal and Cambodia segment as reportable segment by applying the 75% threshold test. As Impartial Berhad has met the requirement of 75% threshold test with an 89%.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Iqtida Sabrina and I'll be explaining about the advantages and disadvantages of segment reporting. Impartial Berhad uses segment reporting to document the performance of different areas of the business. Therefore, stakeholders are able to see which segments are performing to meet the expectations and which are not. The advantages and disadvantages depends on how the information is used. Here are the advantages of segment reporting. First, we have separate profitable segments. The transparency of the segment reporting helps to see which areas are more profitable and which are not. With that, Impartial Berhad can identify the segments that drains on the bottom line and come up with new strategic directions. Second is, It shows accurate assessments. It helps to attain detailed information about every sector. Hence, investors are able to see the full picture of the company and help financial analysts look at all of the sectors managed by head of sector. Lastly, it improves context. Segment reporting also allows stakeholders to get a better sense of the fluctuation that might affect overall numbers. The stakeholder can also use the same report to determine if the numbers are sustainable. It is designed to help investors better understand the business and its potential cash flow. Moving on to the disadvantages of segment reporting. Data manipulation. Segment reporting lends itself to data manipulation if the information is reported in the true management's eye style. This might give companies' leaders more discretion in how it determines the way segments are constructed and what metrics are reported. It allows the managers to manipulate the data. Last one is time. Segment reporting only emphasizes the present data, which places too much of a focus on the short-term numbers.
Next, types of interim report in Axiata Group Berhad. Interim report in Axiata Group Berhad is quarterly report. Quarterly report is a summary or collection of an audited financial statements before year end, such as statement of comprehensive income, statement of financial position, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flow. Quarterly report issued by Axiata Group Berhad every quarter. That means 3 months, which is April, May, and June. Quarterly report provided by Axiata Group Berhad year to date and comparative. That means last year quarter to this year quarter, which is 30th June 2020 to 30th June 2021. Types of interim report in Axiata Group Berhad. First, unaudited consolidated statement of comprehensive income. Second, unaudited consolidated statement of changes in equity. Third, unaudited consolidated statement of financial position. And fourth, unaudited consolidated statement of cash flow. Next slide is statement and comparative period of Axiata Group Berhad. First, statement of comprehensive income. For current, year to date is 1st January 2021 until 31st December 2021. For comparative, comparable year to date 1st January 2020 until 31st December 2020. For interim period for the current, 1st April 2021 until 30th June 2021. For comparable interim period, 1st April 2020 until 30th June 2020. Second one is statement of financial position. End of interim period for the current 30th June 2021, and for the comparative end of preceding financial year 30th December 2020. Next, statement of changes in equity. Interim period for the current 1st January 2021 until 30th June 2021. For comparable interim period 1st January 2020 until 30th June 2020. And the last one, statement of cash flow. Interim period for the current 1st January 2021 until 30th June 2021. And for the comparable interim period is 1st January 2020 until 30th June 2020.
I will be explaining about the basis of preparation of interim report. There are two types of basis of preparation of interim report. The first one is integral and the second one is discrete. Under the integral method, interim report is a fraction of the annual report. Meanwhile, discrete method treats interim period as a separate period and is prepared on a periodic basis. The basis of preparation of the interim report of Axiata Group Berhad is based on an integral method. An interim period is an integral part of the annual period. Thus, the interim report prepared by Axiata Group Berhad is a fraction of the second quarter ended 30th June 2021. of the annual report. Under this method, the company spread accruals and expenses across all periods even when they incur these events in some periods and not in others. This quarterly report needs to be read in conjunction with the group's audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st December 2020. Two accounting policies that were used in preparing Axiata Group Berhad's interim report are MFRS 16 leases and MFRS 112 income taxes. The first accounting policy is MFRS 16. The accounting policies and method of computation applied in the unaudited financial statements are consistent with those used in the preparation of the 2020 audited financial statements, except for the amendments to MFRS 16 leases. This is due to COVID-19 related rent concessions. This adoption did not have material impact to the group during the current quarter and financial period to date. The second accounting policy is MFRS 112 income taxes. In the previous financial year, the group had assessed the minimum tax based on overall gross receipts under Section 82C of the Bangladesh Finance Act 2020 for mobile phone operators of a subsidiary to be out of scope under MFRS 112 income taxes. As a result, the group had reclassified the minimum tax from taxation to other income net in the consolidated statement of comprehensive income. The comparative corresponding quarter and financial period to date had been restated accordingly.
Lastly, these are the two adjustments made by Axiata Group Berhad. The first adjustment is when on the financial period to date, the group acquired additional plant property and equipment amounting to 2,874.5 million ringgit, mainly for its telecommunication network equipment and capital work in progress. An adjustment 2 is when, during the current quarter and financial period to date, the group recognized net foreign exchange losses of 4.7 million ringgit and 119.3 million ringgit respectively, mainly arising from the revaluation of USD borrowings and working capital. This is the extraction of the financial statement on the effect before and after adjustment of adjustment number 2. Since the foreign exchange occurred losses of 4.7 million ringgit during the current quarter, therefore the amount of borrowing costs will increase from 15,403,526 ringgit to 15,403,530 ringgit in the financial position under non-current liabilities. That is all from us. Thank you for watching.